everyone, it's Dr. Erin here, one of the good doctors of Abbey Research, and it is Wednesday, April 29th, almost the last day of April, which went much, much faster than the decade of March. And I'm here with today's Good Doctors Diagnose. It's our pop culture one. And for a pop culture business lesson, I want to talk today about the lesson we can learn from my beloved favorite author, Jane Austen, about the importance of having a copy editor and having a few sets of eyes look at your work before it is published. Now, I am not a historian or a literary historian. I do not know the exact circumstances of Jane Austen's publication history, but I will tell you, Dr. Kristen and I are in the middle of, or at the beginning, I guess I should say, of reading her books in order of publication. And we have noticed a real stark difference between the first two books published. The first book that we read, published in 1811, was Sense and Sensibility. The second book, which we are reading now, was published 2 years later in 1813 and is Pride and Prejudice, which is usually considered the most popular and beloved of the Jane Austen books. And we've noticed some significant issues in the length of description, the succinctness of prose and dialogue, the character development, particularly the development of fully formed kind of complex characters. Certainly we get a complex understanding of Eleanor and Marianne Dashwood in Sense and Sensibility, but the men are a bit more muddled. Colonel Brandon and Edward Ferrars don't get a lot of time to develop themselves in the book, whereas in contrast, in Pride and Prejudice, we get kind of Elizabeth Bennet and Jane Bennet, who, from what we can determine, it's kind of like she took Eleanor Dashwood, broke her into two people, and created Jane and Lizzie Bennet. And then obviously Fitzwilliam Darcy and George Wickham. It's very clear that Wickham is almost the same character as John Willoughby in Sense and Sensibility, just more finely tuned. So that is the lesson that I would like to impart to you, which may seem a bit silly during these times, but when we always need to be considerate of how we're communicating and whether we're communicating effectively, especially during times of crisis. Whether you're communicating with your employees or your customers or your clients, it's always best to have a few sets of eyes to make sure that you're getting the message across as you intended. And, you know, unless you're Charles Dickens and getting paid by the word, to use words at your discretion to get across the story that you're trying to tell. And if you guys are doing any fun sort of reading activities to survive this current period of social distancing and quarantining and lockdowning wherever you are, please let us know. But that is one of the biggest lessons we can take away from the first two books of Jane Austen's oeuvre. Have a good copy editor. Have somebody you trust that can tell you, you know what, this doesn't make as much sense as you think it does about anything that you're trying to write or publish that will be consumed by the public. So that is our Good Doctors Diagnose for this week. We hope wherever you are in the world, you are as safe and as healthy as possible, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.